The first student presentation is by Christina Springer. She will be sharing her research on the Justice for Janitors Union movement. Christina is a fourth-year undergraduate student in the Department of History. Christina conducts cross-departmental research on social movements and congressional politics. We are so glad to have you.
Hello, and thank you so much for that introduction. The name of my project is How Justice for Janitors Organize the Invisible. I conducted archival research project under the direction of Dr. Frank Tobias Higbee in the winter and spring quarters of 2015. Justice for Janitors is a case study centered on the Justice for Janitors movement in Century City in 1989 and 1990, just a blip in time in the LA union landscape. It's a campaign conducted by SEIU, a strong national union with a history of service in the LA building services sector. In 1990, they conducted one of the most successful union campaigns known to Los Angeles. This story is so important because many of the workers featured in it are immigrants or exploitable workers. The study argues that they were easily exploitable due to a general lack of information about their rights in the workplace, their immigrant status, and a fear of deportation associated with employer threats to terminate the workers if they involved themselves with the union. In the archive, we see many examples of this happening, written by the workers themselves and by the union representatives who covered their stories. These workers were mistreated. They tell stories of having to use harsh chemicals every day with no gloves, being overworked, and working long hours on poverty wages, at the time $4.25 per hour. The story gained national attention when their peaceful protest was met with violent police retaliation. We uncovered video of police beating men, women, and even the elderly while they were trying to cross the street in Century City during a protest. Now, the project is truly centered on a transformation in the LA union landscape that occurred due to U.S. policy changes under Reagan in the 1980s. These include Reagan-era laissez-faire economic policies, the Immigration Reform and Control Act, and structural changes in the building services industry. It's exciting to people who are informed and who care, but most people, especially students, would be uninterested. So how do we engage the viewer? I found that I became very impassioned about this project during my time in the archive as I uncovered photos and information on individuals. So I really wanted to engage others. Instead of writing a research essay full of jargon and complicated concepts, I wrote a story. We identified characters, in this case the organizer John O'Shafer and the pregnant worker Anna Valise, who miscarried her child during the beating in Century City. You add powerful images and you find compelling moments and feature them on multimedia platforms. Doing this, the availability of good data became especially crucial. So what did this look like as an archival research project? Well, the research methods changed from a literature review to an exploration of old photos, dusty court orders, matching handwriting, mugshots, and we drew conclusions based on that information. Because of this approach, the research adopted multimedia and geographical elements. I used GIS software to create a story map of the fight to unionize Century City. We used photos and videos to bring life to the topic. The result features several story maps that allow you to scroll in and out and see changes in the building services industry in Los Angeles, view photos of the Century City riots and of the workers themselves, and explore their individual stories. We split the information into two parts. The first was meant to be accessible to anyone, the story of the janitors. The second was more technical, and it includes analysis of the political and socioeconomic structures. I have hope that because the work is publicly accessible and engaging at justiceforjanitors.wordpress.com, it has helped publicize the story of the janitors in particular, as well as to contribute to a discussion about the exploitation of workers and police violence about vulnerable populations in general.
Okay, please stay tuned for question and answers with Christina Springer. Thank you.